Have you ever seen those videos that have those squiggly lines on it with some sort of image that pertains to a podcast? That, my friend, is called an audiogram. I make my audiograms on a platform called Headliner.app, and you can too. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what it takes to create your own audiogram to market your podcast. It's easier than you think. Let's get started. Now, this isn't an absolute must, but if your podcast has already been produced and uploaded and in iTunes and Spotify, etc., utilizing Headliner is far easier just for the simple fact that you don't have to upload an actual file to Headliner in order to create the audiogram. Now, while not necessary, you don't have to have a podcast episode already up, posted in iTunes, etc. You can upload your own audio file if you choose to do so. We're going to switch to a screen share here in a minute, and I'm going to walk you through and actually create an audiogram with you, and I'm going to show you the different variations. You'll definitely want to sign up for Headliner.app. It's a free platform to utilize, and they've got a paid option that gives you far more options that you'll want, like no watermark on your audiogram, etc. And it'll run you about $12 a month. Now, in addition to audiograms, there's several different other tools that Headliner helps out with. I use it for two main reasons. Number one, to create audiograms, and number two, their audiogram wizard. Say that fast 5 times. What this allows you to do is type in the link of your podcast episode, choose the length, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, or 1 minute, and then Headliner utilizes AI, artificial intelligence, to decide which 15-second or 30-second or however amount of time that you've chosen is going to be sufficient to utilize with an audiogram. You go ahead and simply choose the episode you want to utilize that for, the time length, tweak a couple design things as far as options that they give you, and click submit. Headliner will then email you, depending on what you want, once a week, once a day, one time only, that little clip. Now, you're probably asking yourself, well, what if I don't want that specific clip that Headliner decided that I should utilize? Well, they give you the option to go right into that clip, and you can choose another 15 seconds or 30 seconds or 1 minute. The idea is to get a clip that is catchy, that piques people's interest, and then be able to create something that aesthetically appeals to people, like your show logo or the topic of the episode, and have a 1 minute or 30-second or 15-second snippet with the little sound squiggly lines so people visually see, this is about a podcast. And you can have call to action like click the link in our bio. If you post it on LinkedIn or on Facebook, you can post the video and also the link directly to your podcast website. But first things first, I want to walk you through exactly what it takes to create an audiogram over on Headline. So let's go do that. Just go to Headliner.app, and you can sign up for their free account. And later on, you can upgrade. It's like $12 a month, and you get a few additional features from the free account. You're not as limited, and there's no watermark on your audiograms. So I've already set up an account, so I'm going to go ahead and log in. And there's a couple different features that you can do within Headliner. That's what I like a lot about the application, is because there's several different things that you can do. You can create an audiogram within the audiogram wizard. So that turns your audio clips into short videos with waveforms, the little squiggly lines to share on social. You can create a full episode. You can turn up to 2 hours of audio into a video for YouTube, Vimeo, etc. You can transcribe a video. So you can automatically transcribe your video's audio into captions. And then you've got podcast audio videos. I've got to say, this is probably one of my favorite features, just for the simple fact that it allows you to go in and automatically create audiograms that are 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute long, whatever you decide for you to utilize. And you've got them automatically sent to you on a daily, weekly, or one-time basis, whatever you choose. So let's start there. And the search feature doesn't always populate what the podcast name is, so don't get discouraged. If that's the case, you can always take your RSS feed, which your podcast host gives you for your podcast. Every podcast has an RSS feed, and you can copy and paste that RSS feed directly here, and it'll pop up. But for demonstration purposes, let me just pull up a podcast that I know will be in here and populate every single time. For some reason, mine doesn't populate every single time. But let's search Joe Rogan. Obviously, he's done a couple podcasts or two. So we're going to choose, pretend like the Joe Rogan Experience is your podcast. Click next. What do I want to do? Do I want to do a full-length video to put on YouTube? I want to do a short video to create an audiogram and post it on social media. I'm going with short video. Now, how many times do I want this automatically created and sent to me? So Headliner uses artificial intelligence to be able to go through your episode and pick out a 15, 30, 45 second or 1 minute clip and then automatically email it to you. And then you've got the option to either keep that clip or adjust it accordingly. But you can do it once, you can do it weekly, you can do it daily. So you choose what's good for you. We'll choose once for now. And we're going to do, I like to do at least 1 minute because I can post that on LinkedIn and Facebook. 1 minute's a good time. You can also do 15 seconds, 30 seconds for Instagram and Facebook stories. And then you've got an option for auto caption. So you can have captions on it if you'd like. I don't like to put captions on my audiograms because there's already a squiggly line and there's plenty of like busyness going on with the audiogram as it is. I don't want to put words and squiggly lines. People will click away immediately. It's got to be aesthetically appealing, and that's what an audiogram does. It helps you promote your podcast with something that looks cool and is easy to digest and consume. So next you decide what size you like to do. Doesn't really matter. And then they've got several templates that you can choose from. It says episode art, episode title. That means your episode art, your cover art is going to go there. Your episode title will go there, and then any captions would go here. You can get something very basic that's just got the squiggly line with the episode title and your art. You can get something that's funky with your episode art and got all kinds of funky squiggly lines on it, or you can just do something very, very basic like episode title with the episode art and the podcast title. Let's go ahead and choose that one. So episode title would go here, whatever the title of the episode is, and then there's a squiggly line. So there's a couple things you can change here. The squiggly lines, you can change different kinds. You can choose a different color too. You don't have to choose the one that's actually on there. You can choose a different color. You can choose all kinds of different things that signify that there's actually sound taking place. But these are the traditional ones you're probably accustomed to seeing on most podcasts. How do you get those squiggly lines on that flyer you made? Well, you make the flyer in Canva, you bring it into Headliner, and this is how the process is made. So we'll choose this. You can choose the background. You can put a progress bar on there that shows how long the clip is. If you'd like, you can choose the color of that, and you're going to click Start Getting Automatic Videos. Now, I'm not going to click Start Getting Automatic Videos because I'll start getting automatic video clips of Joe Rogan's show. But for demonstration purposes, this gives you an idea of what's possible with the automatic feature for Headliner. Now, let's go back to the main dashboard. So that covers podcast audio videos. I have not used video transcript, and I have not used a full video because my podcast host, acast.com, does this feature. It creates my podcast episode into a air quotes video and posts it on my YouTube channel automatically. And video transcripting, all of my transcripting captions, anything that I do is all done through rev.com. So I've not utilized Headliner for that as of yet, but the option is available. Now, the one that I seldomly use because I love the auto feature instead of this is the Audiogram, where you can actually just go create your own audiogram. So let's see here. Let's say I want to utilize, this is perfect. I just got done with one of my new students' outros. We'll go ahead and use that just for example purposes. We'll click next. And when you go through here, it shows you the clip's going to start at 0 and it's going to end at 20 seconds. And the clip duration is actually 20 seconds long. So it sounds something like this.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the Healer.
So I like this example because I'm utilizing an actual podcast intro from one of my students, because the first thing you do when you create a podcast intro and you've got your album art back, you should be creating an audiogram just to promote or tease and or talk about what's to come as far as you launching your podcast. So it's a great way to market your podcast before the podcast is actually live, is just take your cover art, take your 1 minute clip, 30-second clip, 20-second clip, whatever it is, drag it into Headliner, and you'll be able to make an audiogram in no time. So let's walk through that process real quick. I'm going to choose the size that I want. You can do it for stories and Facebook stories, Instagram stories. You can do it for a square post for Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can do a landscape for YouTube and websites. I usually utilize the square option. So we're going to get in here and it's going to say, what image do you want to choose? So let's just, for demonstration purposes, let me find an image right here that I can utilize. Here's one of me and one for one of my YouTube channels, so I can adjust it accordingly, whatever the case is. You can crop it. You can also not constrain it, and I can choose what I want to do. So once I'm done here, do you want to crop it, replace it? Do you want to trash it? You got that option. Then you've also got the waveform option. So I'll go back in here. I don't know that I want blue. Red would probably match with it because everything else is red. Whatever the case is, I can lighten up the red a little bit. If I don't want to go as crazy dark red, I'm able to go and do that. And then also I'm able to put a progress bar. I can change the color of the background. I can also add text to it. That looks kind of weird when you put text on it, but you can do that. And also change the image out if you want to swap it and you decide this isn't the one. And then you're going to click Create Project. That's not going to be the last step. That would be the last step if we were doing the auto videos or audiograms here on Headliner, but this actually creates the project that's going to bring it into Headliner so that you can edit it and go in and complete the project and trim it and change it and anything you may want to do last minute. So it looks very comparable to like an iMovie or GarageBand or Audacity, but you're able to see each line of content while you're editing. So you got the audio part, you've got the video part. If there's an image, you can adjust the volumes, etc. And here we are. They're loading the project. So first thing you do is you go up here and you name the project, My New Project. And I've gone in here. I've already added the audio. I've already added the image, but maybe I wanted to just start it here so I could just drag and drop. I can go down here. I can drag and drop, and I can trim it down to as short as I want, as long as I want. I can do the same thing with the image. I can add additional assets here, like a progress animation. I can add a watermark on here, so I can upload my logo, and it's going to put a watermark on the actual audiogram. I can add additional media if I chose to add that there, or I could split this file and say I don't want to replace this, but I want to add another image. So there's several things you can do in this little editor here with additional options. A transcript, you can upload captions if you want to put captions. Again, I don't recommend captions on an audiogram. I do recommend the squiggly lines, the audiogram lines. There's several different names for those. And then once you've gotten all this tweaked and where exactly that you want it, you're simply going to click export, and they're going to ask you a few details: your email address, the frame rate, video quality, square. Do you want to add an intro and outro? And then you can export the video. So I'll go ahead and do that for demonstration purposes. It says we're uploading your audio. Keep this tab open. As soon as it's exported, take a couple minutes. It's going to give you a little link to download it, and they're also going to email you that audiogram. So once this is all taken place, the best thing to do is just get onto Headliner's free app and sign up and start creating and playing around with things, and then sharing them with your community and saying, hey, what do you think about this? I just created it. Do you like it? Get some feedback, etc. And this is just an ad that they popped up there, but this is going to generate here. It's going to give me an option to download my audiogram, and then I'm good to go, and I can upload it to the internets, and I can upload it to Facebook and Instagram, etc. But this is how you create a project within Headliner. You got Audiogram Wizard. That's what we just went through. A full episode if you want to turn your podcast audio into a video transcript, and then podcast auto videos, which are my absolute favorite. And then you've also got templates down here that you can choose and make your own. So if you wanted to utilize a template, and it would open up in the editor, and you can change the images and the audio and make it your own and get ideas. It's a great way to jog your idea. All templates, pre-made templates, save. So the paid version is like $12 a month. I strongly advise getting that because there's no watermark and there's no limitations. But yes, this Headliners, there's other applications out there. This has been the easiest that I've found to be able to create an audiogram. Now, you can also avoid all of these options. I don't know why you'd want to do that and go straight to the editor and just start raw and find your own images and audio. But this kind of walks you through the process when you utilize these 4 steps on here. So happy headlining and creating your podcast audiograms. They're important because they allow you to market your podcast, and they're aesthetically appealing to the viewer. Well, I hope you're leaving this video with at least 1 or 2 things that you did not know about creating an audiogram to promote your podcast. Get any questions about this video or any video on the channel for that matter, don't hesitate to leave a comment below. I respond to each and every one of you lovely people. Until next time.